The invitation should have been simple. Just one evening. Just one role to play. But when the most powerful woman in the city looked into his eyes and said, "Just act like you're mine for tonight," neither of them knew that a single night would change their lives forever. Before we begin, if you believe that kindness, second chances, and unexpected love can change a person's destiny, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel Love and Destiny. Your support helps us bring more emotional stories to life. The afternoon sun poured through the tall glass windows of the corporate headquarters, painting long shadows across the polished marble floor. Employees hurried through the building, careful not to make mistakes in the presence of Serena Vale, the CEO whose name was known throughout the country. She was brilliant, determined, and respected by everyone who worked for her. Yet behind her success was a loneliness she never spoke about. At 38 years old, Serena had built an empire from nothing. Magazines called her unstoppable. Investors called her a genius. But every evening, when she returned to her penthouse overlooking the city, silence greeted her. No family waited for her. No one asked how her day had been. Success had brought her everything except the one thing she secretly wanted most, someone genuine. That same afternoon, across town, Rowan Pierce was finishing another exhausting shift at a local community center. At 35, he was raising his 7-year-old daughter, Ivy, alone. Life had not been easy since losing his wife years earlier. Every day was a balancing act between work, parenting, bills, and responsibilities. Yet despite the hardships, Rowan carried himself with quiet dignity. His daughter was his entire world. When Serena arrived at the community center later that day to inspect a charitable project funded by her company, she expected a routine visit. Instead, she noticed Rowan helping a group of children paint murals on a playground wall. Unlike everyone else around her, he wasn't trying to impress her. He didn't seem interested in her title or wealth. He simply smiled politely and continued helping the children. Something about that caught her attention. Hours later, after a complicated phone call from her family, Serena found herself facing a problem she hadn't expected. A prestigious charity gala was taking place that evening. The city's most influential people would attend. Her relatives had spent months pressuring her about being single, questioning her life choices, and treating her personal life like a business failure. For the first time, she dreaded attending. As she prepared to leave the community center, she saw Rowan gathering supplies while Ivy sat nearby drawing pictures. An idea formed in her mind. What happened next surprised even her. She approached Rowan and made an unusual request. She explained the situation honestly. She needed someone to accompany her to the gala, someone who could help her avoid another evening of judgment and uncomfortable questions. It would only be for one night. Most people would have jumped at the opportunity. Rowan didn't. He listened carefully, then looked toward his daughter. His response was calm and unexpected. He explained that pretending to be someone he wasn't had never solved any problem in his life. He had spent years teaching his daughter the importance of honesty. For a moment, Serena felt embarrassed. But then Rowan said something that left her completely speechless. He told her that if she needed someone to stand beside her, she didn't need a performance. She deserved someone willing to stand beside her as a friend, with honesty instead of appearances. No one had ever spoken to her that way. Not employees. Not business partners. Not family. For years people had seen her position, her wealth, or her influence. Rowan was the first person who seemed to see the person beneath all of it. That evening, Serena invited both Rowan and Ivy to attend the charity gala. The grand ballroom glittered beneath crystal chandeliers. Elegant guests filled the room. Expensive suits and designer gowns dominated every corner. Yet somehow, the most genuine presence in the room came from a single father and his young daughter. Ivy's eyes widened at the decorations. Rowan remained humble and composed despite the attention they attracted. As expected, Serena's relatives immediately began asking questions. Some made subtle remarks about her personal life. Others offered unwanted advice. But something remarkable happened. Instead of defending herself, Serena found herself relaxing. Whenever conversations became uncomfortable, Rowan redirected attention toward the charitable projects helping families and children. He spoke passionately about community support, education, and hope. People listened. Not because of power. Because of sincerity. As the evening continued, Serena watched influential executives become fascinated by Rowan's ideas. Wealthy donors who rarely paid attention to local programs suddenly wanted to contribute. Conversation shifted away from gossip and toward meaningful change. For the first time in years, Serena felt proud of an evening that had nothing to do with business achievements. Later, she found Ivy standing near one of the ballroom windows, gazing at the city skyline. The little girl quietly admitted that she missed having a mother. The words struck Serena deeply. She knelt beside Ivy and listened. Not as a CEO. Not as an executive. Simply as another human being. That brief conversation revealed something Serena had hidden from herself for years. Beneath her ambition, she longed for connection, family, and belonging. Over the following weeks, Serena found reasons to visit the community center more often. Officially, she was reviewing projects. Unofficially, she enjoyed spending time with Rowan and Ivy. Gradually, walls began to fall. Rowan learned that Serena's confidence masked years of loneliness. Serena learned that Rowan's strength came not from avoiding pain but from continuing despite it. And Ivy, with the honesty only children possess, brought laughter wherever she went. The three began sharing simple moments. Weekend park visits. Community events. Afternoon lunches. Nothing extraordinary. Yet those ordinary moments became priceless. One sunny afternoon, nearly 6 months after the gala, Serena accompanied Rowan and Ivy to a school event. As parents gathered around their children, Ivy proudly introduced Serena to her classmates. Without hesitation, the little girl reached for Serena's hand. The gesture lasted only seconds. But it meant everything. Because in that moment, Serena realized she no longer felt like an outsider looking into someone else's life. She felt like she belonged. Months later, standing once again beneath bright daylight skies at the community center where everything had started, Rowan finally shared what had been in his heart. There were no grand speeches. No dramatic displays. Just honesty. The same honesty that had defined him from the beginning. And this time, Serena had no words. Only tears. Happy tears. Because the man who refused to pretend had become the most important person in her life. Before we reach the end, tell us in the comments, have you ever met someone who changed your life simply by being genuine? Years later, the community center expanded into one of the city's most successful family support programs. Serena's company funded countless projects. Rowan helped lead many of them. And Ivy grew up surrounded by people who loved her. Their story became proof that sometimes the most important relationships begin not with perfect plans, but with unexpected honesty. If this story touched your heart, please like the video, leave a comment, and share it with someone who believes real love is built on truth, kindness, and respect. Because sometimes the greatest gift we can give another person isn't pretending to be someone they need. It's having the courage to be exactly who we are. And sometimes, that's more than enough.